All right, let's talk about a comeback. One of the most iconic names in Indian automotive history, the Sierra, is officially back. But this isn't just about slapping an old name on a new car for nostalgia's sake. No, this is a complete reimagining for today's world. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep and see if the new Tata Sierra can actually live up to its legendary name, from its wild design and tech-filled interior to its performance, and what might be a truly game-changing approach to safety. And wow, Tata Motors is not messing around. They're setting the tone right from the very start with this quote. This makes one thing crystal clear. The return of the Sierra isn't just about cool looks. It's about setting a whole new standard for what it means to be safe out on the road. So is anybody actually excited about this? Well, this number kind of says it all, doesn't it? 70,000. That's the number of bookings the Sierra got on its very first day. The first day. That's just incredible, and it really shows you the power of that name and just how much hype is surrounding this car's return. Okay, so to really get what's driving all that excitement, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with how the legend has been reborn, then check out that striking exterior, dive into the techie interior, talk about performance, cover its groundbreaking safety, and finally wrap up with the all-important price and variance. Let's get into it. So here's the big question, right? How do you bring back a legend? You can't just copy the past. What Todd is trying to do here is capture the spirit of the original, that bold, adventurous vibe, and inject it into a completely modern, feature-packed SUV. And you can see that philosophy the second you look at the car's exterior. You can definitely see little hints of the original, but man, it's also something totally new and futuristic. Let's take a closer look at how they've mixed that heritage with a forward-looking design. You can really see that old meets new blend right here. That iconic alpine glass roof is back, but it's been reimagined in a really clever, modern way. Then you've got these lightsaber-style LEDs that give it this awesome futuristic signature. And the small details, like the flush door handles and those huge 19-inch alloys, just come together to create a super sleek, clean look. Okay, let's step inside, because that futuristic theme just goes into overdrive here. This is less like a car cabin and more like your own personal command center. It feels like everything was designed to put technology and comfort right at your fingertips. And the centerpiece of that command center? It's this, a massive wall of screens. On the top-end models, you get three 12.3-inch displays that just dominate the dashboard. It creates this incredibly high-tech and really immersive feeling when you're sitting in the driver's seat. And then you look up. The panoramic sunroof is absolutely gigantic. We're talking over 1.5 meters long. It's the largest in its segment, and it just completely opens up the cabin, flooding it with light and making it feel incredibly spacious and airy. And the premium touches just keep coming. You've got a killer 12-speaker JBL sound system with a really unique soundbar integrated right into the dash. For comfort, there's an air purifier, you've got ventilated front seats, and even the rear seats recline. And when it comes to practicality, the boot is a massive 622 liters. So, yeah, plenty of room. Of course, a car is more than just its features and looks. So how does it go? Let's talk about what's powering the new Sierra. Tata's offering 3 very different engine options, which means you can really pick the powertrain that suits your driving style. So let's break these down. For everyday city driving, you've got the 1.5-liter Revitron petrol. If you want a bit more punch, the 1.5-liter Turbo Petrol, the Hyperion, gives you a hefty 158 horsepower. And then for you highway cruisers, the Cryojet Turbo Diesel delivers that fantastic torque you want for those long trips. And what about mileage? That's the big question for so many of us, right? Well, for the naturally aspirated petrol with a manual transmission, users are reporting a real-world figure of about 17 kilometers per liter. For a vehicle this size, that is a very, very respectable number. Now, let's circle back to safety. Back to that opening quote. Tata has built its entire brand on safety, and with the Sierra, they're not just trying to pass the tests. It feels like they're trying to rewrite the rulebook. So here's the thing. For years, standard crash tests have always been a car hitting a stationary wall. But Tata looked at the real-world data and said, wait a minute, the most severe accidents, the ones we really need to protect people from, happen when 2 moving cars collide. So what did they do? To make safety truly legendary, they engineered their very own test, a real-world car-to-car collision. This gives them data that is way more representative of what actually happens out on the road. And honestly, it could raise the bar for the entire auto industry. And beyond this new testing, the Sierra is just loaded with safety tech. The biggest news? 6 airbags are standard on every single variant. That's huge. On top of that, you get modern features like a Level 2 ADAS system, a 360-degree camera, and of course, all the essentials like ABS with EBD. So, we've seen the design, we've seen the tech, and we've seen the groundbreaking safety. Now let's get to the bottom line. What's this thing going to cost you, and what are your options? Okay, here we go. The Sierra comes into the market with a really competitive starting price of 11.49 lakh, extra room. Now, that range goes all the way up to 21.29 lakh for the fully loaded, top-of-the-line version. This positions it right in the heart of the most competitive SUV segment out there. And get a load of this number, 24. That is how many different variants of the Sierra are available, an incredible amount of choice. It means that no matter your budget or what engine you're looking for, there's almost certainly a Sierra configuration that's going to be just right for you. So all of this leaves us with that one big question. Has Tata actually created a worthy successor to the legendary Sierra? You know, when you look at the whole package, the blend of heritage and futuristic design, the insane amount of tech, the huge range of choice, and that pioneering approach to safety, the answer feels like a pretty resounding yes. It's making a very, very strong case for becoming a new legend in its own right.